Lesson 221, Cartoon Character.
Hey Anna, if you were a cartoon character, which one would you be?
That's a good question. I think I would be Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She's smart, independent, and loves books just like me.
Nice choice. I would have to go with Bugs Bunny. He's funny, loves carrots, and always finds a way to outsmart his enemies.
I can definitely see the resemblance. But don't forget about his famous catchphrase, "What's up, Doc?"
Of course not. I'm always saying that to my friends.
Well, if we ever go on an adventure together, I'll make sure to bring some carrots for you.
And I'll make sure to bring my sense of humor to keep us entertained.
Sounds like a plan. Lesson 222, the craziest thing you've ever done.
Hey Anna, what's the craziest thing you've ever done to avoid work?
Oh man, I think the craziest thing I ever did was fake a doctor's note saying I had a contagious illness and couldn't come into work for a week.
That's hilarious. Did your boss buy it?
Surprisingly, yes. I think they were more scared of catching something than questioning the authenticity of the note.
I can't believe you got away with that. I once pretended to be on a really important conference call and went into an empty conference room to play video games on my phone.
That's so sneaky. Did anyone catch you?
Thankfully no, but I did have to pretend to take notes and nod my head every once in a while to make it look convincing.
That's dedication right there. I think we both deserve awards for our creativity in avoiding work.
Agreed. Let's just hope our bosses aren't watching this conversation.
Lesson 223, the most important food.
Hey Anna, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a tough one, John. But I think I would have to choose pizza. There are so many different toppings and variations, I could never get bored of it.
Good choice. I would have to go with tacos. They're versatile, delicious, and you can always mix up the fillings and toppings.
Yes, tacos are definitely a close second for me. But what about breakfast? I couldn't live without pancakes and waffles.
I see your point. But I think I could still have breakfast tacos, so I'm covered.
Ah, yes. The breakfast taco, a true Texan classic. But what about dessert? We can't forget about that.
Oh, you're right. I could never give up ice cream. It's the perfect sweet treat, and there are so many flavors to choose from.
I agree, ice cream is a must-have. It looks like we'll have to settle for a lifetime of pizza, tacos, pancakes, waffles, and ice cream.
Hey, I'm not complaining. That sounds like a pretty delicious life to me.
Lesson 224, the funniest joke you know by heart.
Hey Anna, what's the funniest joke you know by heart?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm terrible at remembering jokes. How about you go first?
Okay, here's one. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? Because it was too tired.
That's a good one. Okay, here's one I remember. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing.
I like that. Here's another one. Why did the scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
Nice one. Okay, here's my next joke. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
I love it. Okay, one more. Why don't ants get sick? Because they have tiny ant bodies.
That's hilarious. I think we have a future as stand-up comedians, John.
Agreed. But for now, let's just stick to telling jokes to each other.
Lesson 225, Fictional Character.
Hey Anna, if you could switch lives with any fictional character, who would it be?
That's a tough one. I think I would have to go with Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series. She's smart, brave, and gets to do magic.
Good choice. But I would have to choose Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. He's a genius inventor, a superhero, and has a pretty awesome suit.
Ah, I see. You want to be a billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want to be Iron Man? But what about you, Anna? Any other characters you'd like to switch lives with?
Well, now that you mention it, I think it would be pretty cool to be a Disney princess. Maybe Belle from Beauty and the Beast again, or even Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
I can see the appeal. But don't forget about the singing and dancing.
Oh, I won't forget. I'll just have to work on my vocal range and choreography.
Sounds like a plan. Maybe we can even team up and fight crime or evil sorcerers together.
That would be epic. Our fictional characters would never be the same. Lesson 226, the weirdest thing you've ever found in your pocket.
Hey Anna, what's the weirdest thing you've ever found in your pocket?
Oh, that's a good one. Let me think. I once found a tiny plastic dinosaur in my pocket. I have no idea how it got there.
That's hilarious. I can just imagine you reaching into your pocket and pulling out a T-Rex.
Yeah, it was pretty random. What about you, John? Have you ever found anything weird in your pocket?
Actually, I once found a potato chip in my pocket. I have no idea how it got there either. I think I must have absent-mindedly put it there while snacking.
That's great. You're like a walking vending machine.
Yeah, except with stale potato chips. But seriously, it was pretty gross. I don't recommend keeping food in your pockets.
Noted. I'll stick to keeping my plastic dinosaurs in there instead. Lesson 227. If you were a superhero, what would your catchphrase be?
Hey Anna, if you were a superhero, what would your catchphrase be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. How about, time to save the day, in my own unique way?
I like it. Mine would be, justice never sleeps, and neither do I.
Nice one. You're like the ultimate crime-fighting insomniac.
Yeah, I guess I am. But seriously, a good catchphrase is important for any superhero. It makes you sound cool and intimidating.
Agreed. But it has to be catchy too. You don't want people forgetting your catchphrase.
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine Batman without his "I'm Batman" or Spider-Man without his "with great power comes great responsibility"?
No way. Those catchphrases are legendary. But I think we could come up with something just as awesome if we put our minds to it.
I have no doubt about that. We could be the dynamic duo of catchphrases.
Now you're talking. Let's go save the world, one catchphrase at a time. Lesson 228, the worst haircut.
Hey Anna, what's the worst haircut you've ever had?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I've had some pretty bad haircuts in my time. I think the worst was when I was in middle school and decided to cut my own bangs. They ended up being way too short and lopsided.
Oh no, that sounds like a disaster. Did you have to wear a hat to school the next day?
I wish I had thought of that. But no, I just had to deal with the embarrassment of having wonky bangs for a few weeks until they grew out.
I feel your pain. I once got a buzz cut that was way too short. I looked like a bald baby.
Oh man, that's rough. Did people mistake you for a newborn?
Not quite, but I definitely got a lot of weird looks. I think I wore a beanie for a month straight to hide it.
Yeah, bad haircuts can be pretty traumatizing. But at least they make for good stories later on.
True. And who knows, maybe one day we'll look back on these hair disasters and laugh.
Or cringe. But either way, it's all in the name of fashion experimentation, right? Lesson 229, a pet that you would like to be.
Hey Anna, if you could have any animal as a pet, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. There are so many animals that I would love to have as pets. I think I'd go with a panda. They're so cute and cuddly.
A panda, really? Aren't they kind of big and dangerous?
Maybe, but they're also adorable. Plus, I could train it to do tricks and we could become famous on the internet.
That's a good point. I think I'd go with a penguin. They're like little tuxedo-wearing ninjas.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love penguins. They're so funny and cute. But don't they need to live in cold climates?
Yeah, but I could build a giant fridge for it or something. Or maybe I could just move to Antarctica.
Yeah, because living in Antarctica is totally practical. But hey, if it means having a pet penguin, I'm all for it.
Exactly. And we could have playdates with our pets and film it for the internet. It would be a hit.
I can just see it now, panda and penguin playtime, the cutest show on the internet. Lesson 230, what's the silliest dance move you know?
Hey Anna, what's the silliest dance move you know?
Oh man, there are so many to choose from. I think I'd have to go with the sprinkler move. You know, where you stick one arm out and move it back and forth like a sprinkler.
Oh yeah, I know that one. That's a classic. I think the silliest one I know is the shopping cart. You pretend you're pushing a cart with one hand and then you alternate between putting different items in it.
That's hilarious. I've never heard of that one before. We should totally bust out our silly dance moves at the next party we go to.
Yes. We'll be the life of the party with our ridiculous dance moves. But we should probably practice a little first so we don't embarrass ourselves too much.
Agreed. Maybe we could even come up with our own original moves. Like the cat stuck in a box or the baby giraffe learning to walk.
Oh man, those sound amazing. I can't wait to see what kind of ridiculous dance moves we come up with.
Lesson 231, ridiculous job.
Hey Anna, if you could have any job in the world, but it had to be ridiculous, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. There are so many ridiculous jobs out there. I think I'd go with a professional nap taker. I mean, how amazing would it be to get paid just to take naps?
That's hilarious. I think I'd want to be a professional bubble wrap popper. I mean, who doesn't love popping bubble wrap? And getting paid for it? Sign me up.
That's brilliant. I think you might be onto something there. We could even start a company and hire other people to pop bubble wrap for us.
Yes. We could call it Pop Till You Drop. It would be the ultimate stress-relieving job.
I love it. And we could have all kinds of different bubble wrap sizes and shapes to keep it interesting.
Exactly. We could even have a bubble wrap Olympics to see who can pop the most bubbles in the shortest amount of time.
Oh man, we are geniuses. I can't wait to see where this ridiculous job takes us. Lesson 232, the most embarrassing thing you've ever done.
Hey Anna, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done in public?
Oh man, I've had so many embarrassing moments in my life. But I think the worst one was when I tripped and fell in the middle of a crowded street. And to make matters worse, my skirt flew up and everyone saw my underwear.
Oh no, that's terrible. I bet you were so embarrassed.
Yeah, I wanted to crawl into a hole and never come out. But at least it's a funny story now.
Yeah, it definitely makes for a good story. I think my most embarrassing moment was when I accidentally called my teacher mom in the middle of class.
Oh man, I've done that before too. It's so awkward.
Yeah, and the worst part was that everyone in the class heard it and started laughing. I wanted to disappear.
Well, at least you're not alone. We've all had our fair share of embarrassing moments in public.
That's true. It just goes to show that we're all human and prone to making silly mistakes.
Lesson 233, important color for the rest of your life.
Hey Anna, if you could only wear one color for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I love wearing all kinds of colors. But if I had to pick just one, I think I'd go with black.
Really? Black? That's kind of boring, isn't it?
I know. But hear me out. Black goes with everything and it's always in style. Plus, it's slimming.
I guess that's true. But I think I'd want to wear something more colorful. I'd probably go with green.
Green. That's an interesting choice. Why green?
I don't know, I just really like the color. It's calming and peaceful. Plus, it reminds me of nature.
That's a good point. And I guess if you wore green all the time, people would start associating you with the color.
Yeah, I'd be that green guy.
I love it. We could start a trend and everyone could pick their own color to wear for the rest of their life.
That's a great idea. We could call it the color challenge.
I think we're onto something here. The possibilities are endless. Lesson 234, the funniest thing that's ever happened to you on a date.
Hey Anna, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you on a date?
Oh man, I've had some pretty funny dates in my life. But I think the funniest one was when my date accidentally spilled his drink all over himself.
Oh no, that's terrible. Was he okay?
Yeah, he was fine. But the best part was that he tried to play it cool and act like nothing had happened. He just sat there with a wet shirt and pretended like everything was normal.
That's hilarious. Did you call him out on it?
Of course I did. I couldn't stop laughing. But he was a good sport about it and we ended up having a great time.
That's good to hear. I think the funniest thing that's ever happened to me on a date was when we went to see a movie and I accidentally sat in the wrong seat.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, the theater was pretty crowded and I thought I had found our seats. But it turned out that I had sat down in someone else's seat.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, the person whose seat I was in was a really big guy. He started yelling at me and I had to awkwardly get up and move to another seat.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I bet you were so embarrassed.
Yeah, I was. But it made for a funny story afterwards.
Lesson 235, if you could have any superpower for a day.
Hey Anna, if you could have any superpower for a day, what would you do with it?
That's a tough one. I think I would want the power of telekinesis. I mean, just imagine all the things I could do without lifting a finger.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. What would you do with it?
Well, I would start by cleaning my apartment without actually having to physically clean it. Then, I would use my powers to move things around and mess with people a little bit.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I think if I had a superpower for a day, I would want the power of super speed.
Oh, that's a good one. What would you do with it?
Well, first of all, I would break all the records in the Olympics. And then, I would use my speed to run around the world and see all the sights I've always wanted to see.
That sounds amazing. But what about work? Wouldn't you want to use your powers to get ahead in your job or something?
Nah, I don't think so. I would rather use my powers for fun stuff.
I can't argue with that. Superpowers should be used for fun, not work. Lesson 236, the weirdest thing you've ever seen someone do in their car.
Hey Anna, have you ever seen someone do something really weird in their car?
Yeah, actually I have. One time I saw a guy trying to brush his teeth while driving.
Are you serious? How did he manage to do that?
I have no idea, but he had a toothbrush in one hand and a water bottle in the other. He was swishing water around in his mouth and spitting it out the window.
That's ridiculous. I once saw a woman putting on makeup while driving.
Oh, I've seen that too. I always wonder how people can do that without crashing.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. But have you ever seen anyone do something really weird, like dance or sing in their car?
Actually, now that you mention it, I saw a guy breakdancing in his car once.
No way. How is that even possible?
I have no idea, but he was really going for it. He had his seatbelt on and everything.
That's amazing. I think we should start a competition to see who can spot the weirdest thing in someone's car.
I'm in. But we might have to be careful not to crash ourselves while we're looking. Lesson 237, if you could only watch one TV show for the rest of your life.
Hey Anna, if you could only watch one TV show for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I think I would have to go with Friends.
Really? Why Friends?
Because it's hilarious and it never gets old. Plus, there are so many episodes to watch, I could probably watch it for the rest of my life and never get bored.
That's true. I think I would have to choose The Office.
Of course you would. Why The Office?
Because it's also hilarious and there are so many episodes to watch. Plus, I feel like I could relate to some of the characters.
Yeah, I can see that. But what if we had to watch the same TV show for the rest of our lives?
That would be interesting. We'd have to compromise.
Okay, how about we compromise and choose a show that we both like Parks and Recreation.
Perfect. That way we won't get sick of it and we can watch it together.
Yeah, and we can quote all the funny lines together too. Lesson 238, if you could have any celebrity as your best friend, who would it be?
Hey Anna, if you could have any celebrity as your best friend, who would it be?
That's a tough one. There are so many cool celebrities out there. I think I would choose Jennifer Lawrence. She seems like she would be hilarious to hang out with.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. She's always so down to earth and funny in her interviews.
Exactly. Plus, she seems like she would be up for anything. What about you? Who would be your celebrity best friend?
I think I would choose Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He just seems like such a cool guy, and he's always doing fun things like posting workout videos and cooking on his Instagram.
That's a great choice. He's definitely one of the most entertaining celebrities out there.
Plus, I feel like he would have my back in any situation. Who wouldn't want a friend like The Rock?
Very true. We can dream, right? Lesson 239, about good weather.
Hey Anna, how's the weather today?
It's fantastic. The sun is shining, there's a light breeze, and it's not too hot or cold. Perfect weather, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's really nice outside. I love when the weather is just right like this. It makes me want to go outside and do something fun.
Same here. I feel like I should be taking advantage of this great weather, but I don't even know what to do.
We could always have a picnic or go for a hike. Or we could just sit outside and enjoy the sunshine.
Ooh, a picnic sounds nice. I could bring some sandwiches and fruit, and we could enjoy the outdoors while we eat.
That sounds perfect. Let's do it.
Great. It's always a good day when the weather is on our side. Lesson 240, Going Back Home Soon.
Hey Anna, I heard you're going back home soon. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm heading back home tomorrow. Honestly, I'm a little bummed. I've had such a great time here, and I don't want it to end.
I know what you mean. It's always hard to say goodbye to a fun trip or vacation.
Definitely. But on the bright side, I'm looking forward to seeing my family and sleeping in my own bed again.
Yeah, that's true. And you can always plan another trip or adventure for the future.
Very true. I'm already thinking about where I want to go next. Maybe I'll come visit you in your hometown.
That would be awesome. I could show you around and take you to all the best local spots.
Sounds like a plan. It's always fun to have a local guide. Please subscribe our channel. And please watch more videos from our channel.